for someday? Ready to finally start living your best life right now?
You're in the right place. I'm David.
And I'm Wendy.
And this is the David and Wendy Podcast. We're your life coaches here to move you from excuses to action.
From mastering your mindset to finding real joy, we're keeping it real, raw, and maybe just a little ridiculous.
Let's get into it, Wendy.
Let's go, David. Well, welcome everyone to the new David and Wendy Podcast. We are so excited to be starting this journey with all of our followers and guests. And yeah, we're happy to be here. So I think David and I, before we get started, we want to just share a little bit about ourselves and how we came to be doing what we're doing. So I am a former teacher. I was an elementary teacher for over 20 years. At the very first part of my career, I loved it. And, I thought that that's what I would be doing the rest of my life. But the second half of my career, probably 8 to 10 years before I left the profession, I started to have feelings that was not my purpose, that I was supposed to be doing something even more. I kind of ignored those feelings, and what happened was very interesting. I started having some health issues, and for about 2 years, the doctors couldn't find anything wrong with me. And then COVID hit. So after that, I decided to take a leave of absence from teaching. As soon as I did that, ironically, all those symptoms dissipated. So I knew that, that gut feeling I was having was telling me something, and I chose to ignore it for several years. But, the universe has a way of taking care of itself. So in the meantime, I was thinking, what am I going to do? I've known I've been meant to help others. People would come up to me and talk to me, about their things happening in their life. And it was just very natural. I was very approachable, I was told, and I listened. So I thought, I think my purpose is to be helping others. So I thought, how about life coaching? So I was searching for that, and I came across Mary Morrissey from Brave Thinking Institute, and they offered a life coaching certification, a couple of them actually. So I did that. I received my certification in transformational life coaching, and that led to a mastermind group, and that's where I met David. And I believe that, which is what the topic is today, coincidence or serendipity, we just really hit it off. Our beliefs, we noticed, were very similar. And so that's how we met. And we've been working together for several years now. And we thought, I think we both thought that we should really start a podcast working with others, because we're both life coaches, and we thought we have great ideas. And so here we are. And I think, David, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Wendy. That's a great that you were able to make that connection between not working and noticing your symptoms going away. That's sometimes we miss those things. But anyway, my name is David Taryn, and glad to have you. We're excited to get started with this podcast. I kind of have an extensive computer background. Did that for many, many years. And yet over the time, I can remember being young, and just people would come to me to ask, my opinion about stuff or help them try to figure stuff out. So that's been going on for a long time. Just really enjoy the computer world, but it was kind of ready for a change. So the circumstances changed, kind of like Wendy's had a no excuse change in her experience. I had the same kind of thing. Um, and so I started looking into life coaching. Took a couple of courses to get some different perspectives, and took the same, obviously took the same course as Wendy. Now here's the funny thing: we actually were at a video because this was, I believe, it was during COVID, sometime during COVID.
Yeah, I think it was.
Um, so it was a video conference. It was supposed to be an in-person conference, but it was all the people that were in uh, the group, right? The coaching, and there was hundreds of people. And I had met Frank. If you're familiar with Zoom and the breakout rooms, I had met Frank in a breakout room uh, sometime before, a few months before maybe, and he said, "Hey, you want to get in a mastermind?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So we met some people there. So then there was another big event, and Wendy got uh, paired up with Frank as well, which, not necessarily paired, but there's only
Mhm.
4 or 5 people in a group. And so Frank said, "Hey, do you want?" Because he's trying to build his mastermind up. He's looking for people to support and be supported. And so she did that. But so our paths from opposite ends of the world almost, kind of came together, and through Frank mastermind, and then the rest, we just, like she said, we had very compatible thinking processes and perspectives, and we just kind of hit it off. Um, and that kind of takes us into the subject of the podcast, which is it, was that a coincidence
Hmm.
or serendipity, or uh,
Yeah.
what what do you think about that? Say more about coincidence or experience. What is coincidence, Wendy?
Yeah, David, thank you for sharing, your background and I've thought a lot about this, but yeah, it's like, oh, out of all the people, how did we come together? Even, the fact that Frank, I'm not even sure how actually that I came across Frank or how he came across me, but regardless, it does touch on this topic of coincidence, or serendipity. And when we were planning, what our first podcast would be, we knew we wanted to talk about this because it's very important, and it's a topic that I think a lot of people think about, or off the cuff they say, "Oh, that's just coincidence." But you know, I I had to start by looking up the definition of both. So I'm going to just share that. Coincidence is a remarkable concurrence of events or circumstances without apparent causal connection. And serendipity is the occurrence and development of events by chance in a happy or beneficial way. So, kind of the same thing, just, putting more of a happy spin on it. So, I never really thought about it up until this time, but yeah, it got me thinking. Yeah, it's a very interesting subject.
It is a very interesting subject, the whole coincidence or serendipity thing,
Mhm.
or is it something else, right? Um, is it possible that we created this experience, or drew it to us, or in some more extreme situations, is it a miracle? What do
Yeah.
you think about that?
Well, I guess what I think about this at first, what go back to the episodes that I was having in my career. This is when things really started to shift for me because of the fact I've heard of this happening, but Was it coincidence that as soon as I left the profession of teaching, all of my symptoms went away? It was just that's where it really started making me think. And so that's where I don't think these things are necessarily coincidence. I think that where our the whole I'm sure many people have heard where our thoughts go, energy flows. And I think
Right?
the energy wave that I had of I don't like what I'm doing anymore, and then you and I, David, this was a fun thing. We started talking about quantum physics. I think you were the one that brought it up because anybody that knows me, I'm not, I taught, English language arts and social studies. Science and math were not my thing. But when we got talking about quantum physics and what it is, the study of matter and energy, um, and how everything is energy. When you look under a microscope, it's just these atoms, and that I find that so fascinating. And you really, David, helped me to understand that. So I think that's where the whole notion in my mind, anyways, started to go to. I think that my circumstances, and when I look at all of my life circumstances, there are too many to get into here, David, but I realized that I was really creating those, I think the energy, that was being put out, almost like a radio waves or antenna. So
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's like um, quantum physics actually supports that we are um, our mindset, our thoughts and beliefs, and what we're focused on, which is all those unconscious programming, if you will, um, all the things we learned when we were really young and that settled below the level of consciousness that still guide our lives today, uh, beneficial or not. They that and we do, and quantum physics actually supports that we are radiating out these ideas, these thoughts, this energy. That's how you read the brain waves, right? In the medical world, you can read the brain waves. So to take that out a little bit, there's a part of the brain called the reticular activating system, which kind of goes hand in hand with you know what you focus on, you experience.
mhm,
Uh, I always use the example of when you're looking for a new
mhm,
car guy. So some people may not get like this, but when you're thinking about something, but for me, it's like when I look for a new car, all of a sudden I start seeing it everywhere.
yes,
And it's like, okay, did everybody just buy the car that I was interested in, or were they always there and I just didn't see them because I wasn't having that didn't have that focus, or that wasn't on my mind.
right,
Um, it's interesting, it's same thing with opportunities can come up the same way. If you're in the mindset of I know something, I really want to get this project done, or this, a be, do, or have, as I say,
mhm,
uh, where I want to get this done. You're excited about it, and you're thinking about it a lot, and all of a sudden resources start coming in, right? That work with you.
yes,
Um, and you think, and we always, we say, oh, what a coincidence! Oh, how lucky am I to have that show up,
exactly,
right? Well,
yeah,
are we lucky, or are we creating our own luck?
absolutely, yeah. That's interesting, David, because one of the things that it just making me what I'm thinking of is even. Um, I guess circumstances that some would look at as negative. like, oh gosh, I wish I had more time to spend at home, on my job. I'm working two jobs and it's calling me away. And all of a sudden something happens. I had this just happen to me recently. It's like that energy is out there of what I am really looking for. And voila, look what happens.
Yes.
So yeah, this is just so fascinating. And some people will look at it as that's negative, a negative experience, but really, that was what I was putting out there. I wasn't putting negativity out there, but the idea that I wanted more time. So the universe is like, well, we can help with that.
Right, right. Yeah,
Yeah,
right, it's the old "careful what you wish for" thing. Um,
exactly.
that's, that's a thing we need to be careful with because, uh, it begs the question, do we create things in our life when we choose to,
Mhm.
or is it happening every moment, right? Based
Right.
on our brain waves, our mindset, uh, because we're radiating it out, right?
Yeah.
You can see a person, you know, out in the wild, so to speak, and you don't even have to connect with them. You don't have to even make eye contact with them, and you can tell, oh, they're upset, or they're a weird person, or wow, that person seems really cool and calm and collected.
Mhm.
Uh, so it's they're radiating that out. That people that have quote unquote bad luck, what do
Yeah.
they say all the time? I have bad luck. That nothing good ever happens to me. And that becomes their mindset and their mantra. And
Yeah.
and guess what their experience is?
Mhm. That's interesting, David, because yeah, as we kind of come to the end of our conversation here, our the question we're going to propose to people is next week we're going to ask, why is your experience as it is? It kind of this conversation, coincidence and or serendipity leads right into that because yeah, you and I have found that our experiences, yeah, do we have a bigger part in this? So yes, that's we're looking forward to that next week.
Right, right. Uh, and just in closing, it's like I like to think of it, if you've ever watched Seinfeld and Kramer. Kramer's always creating wild things, just having a wild experience. And Jerry's always amazed at, how do you keep creating these fun things in your life, or all this stuff. And so anyway, yeah, well, let's wrap this thing up, and we look forward to connecting with you next week.
Yes. So the next time that you think something is coincidence or serendipity, you may want to think twice and reflect on where your thoughts are at that time. So until next week, we'll see you then. Take care.
Take care. Bye bye. All right, that's the show for this week. We hope you are feeling motivated, like you're ready to take on the world.
If you got value today, do us a huge favor. Like and subscribe and leave us a review. It helps us reach more people just like you.
You can find all our info in the show notes and connect with us at our website, thedavidandwendypodcast.com.
We'll see you next week. And remember, always be kind, loving, and compassionate to everyone you meet.